I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good morning, Joey Price. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
I am doing better than I deserve today. It's a great Friday, and I'm just ready for the weekend.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Tell us, what part of the world are you in right now, Joey?
I'm talking to you live from Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, sweet. And which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
Our networking, my networking talents. I believe we connected on LinkedIn, and here we are.
Yeah, LinkedIn is getting the biggest plug on these podcasts. Most definitely. But yeah, definitely a powerful tool. We just had a guy on who is doing some amazing things on LinkedIn as well. He's a sales trainer for businesses. And yeah, LinkedIn is powerful, isn't it, Joey?
It's a powerful tool, and I think we underestimate it these days because, being in a global economy, it's easier now to reach out to a mentor and reach out to someone who has skills that you like to learn from. And they don't have to be one town over or just down the street. LinkedIn really opens the world for you to connect with other people.
It does, it does. Now tell us about business, life, and coffee, please.
Oh, of course. I'm lighting up just thinking about it. Business, Life, and Coffee is my weekly podcast where I talk with entrepreneurs, life experts, fitness experts, health experts, anyone who would be interested in talking with me a little bit about their skills and how entrepreneurs can benefit from the skills that they offer, the services that they provide, and the tips that they have to share.
Yeah. And it's fun, right? Like what you're doing is super fun. I like how you've married the HR aspect of what you do with the podcast. Pretty intriguing stuff there. Tell me about that. Tell me about the HR aspect.
Right. So I have a company called Jumpstart HR. And what we do is help small business owners bridge the gap between the HR that they need today and the HR that they'll need tomorrow. We serve companies that may not have a full-time HR professional right now, but still need that HR expertise.
Yeah.
And so whenever you have even two people in an organization, there are bound to be disagreements, there's bound to be misunderstandings, and you really need good people policies.
Oh,
So we come alongside. Yeah, so we come alongside entrepreneurs. And the podcast, the Business, Life, and Coffee podcast, is really a way for my company to get in front of those types of entrepreneurs, but also add value in a way that's not just HR.
So who did you learn the skill from? Now, HR definitely carries a skill of being able to listen to the both sides of the story, right? And then you're podcasting and you're doing that as well, right? Who did you learn that skill from? The ability to listen.
Wow, that's a really great question. I think that I learned the ability to listen from my parents. And I say that because I was always talking and asking questions. And they were gracious enough to respond and give me answers. I was a very curious child growing up. And, I'd see signs on the highway. I'd want to know how far away we are from Nevada or how far we are from Texas. And they just really indulged me with being gracious with giving me those answers and showing me where I could find those answers. So I think I learned how to listen from my parents.
Why will you continue to repeat the skill of listening?
Well, the number one need I think we all have as humans is the need to be understood. And you can't be understood if a person's not listening. And so I try to listen as a podcaster. I try to listen as an HR consultant and really figure out what it is that motivates people, what it is that inspires people to do what they do, and inspires them to share their stories. So I listen because other people deserve it, and it's one of the best things that we can do for people in their day.
I totally agree. Ooh. Well, tell me one other thing that you've done, Joey, consistently over the last 3 years.
Well, over the last 3 years, I'd say it's been the podcast. Just starting that and getting to, a couple, well, 100+ episodes. That's been
Congratulations.
a
Wow.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's been one of the consistents. But of course, reading and absorbing material and just finding out how other creative people think and how other business providers think.
How does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel alive, actually.
Yeah.
I am also a musician,
Oh,
so
really?
anything that I can,
What
yeah, yeah.
instrument? What instrument do you play?
I play bass guitar.
Oh, sweet. You know, I was talking to your friend, right? Ben Martinez, and he told me that he just picked up the guitar most recently and started to play. So he's playing the guitar. You're on the bass. We might have a band by the time I get to the end of these podcasts.
That's right. That's right. All we'll need is a drummer, and maybe you can get on and sing some songs. And
Yeah, I
who
can do
knows?
that. Yeah,
We'll have to
yeah.
have a Skype jam session.
Oh, great idea. So, how long have you been playing the bass?
Wow, I've been playing bass for over 16 years now. I started when I was
Wow.
really, really young.
Yeah. Wow. 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 Yes. Do you have like samples of your music, or do you play with a band that I can listen to?
Yeah, I'll have to send that over to you. I used to play in a band called Across Life, and this was years ago when I was in college and just got out of college. It's a Christian band,
Yeah.
and so we were pretty well known in the local D.C., Maryland, Virginia area.
That's
So I
sweet.
played there, but right now I'm just playing with my church on Sundays.
Yeah.
Not every Sunday, but at least once a month.
Yeah. I'll send you some music too. You send me something, I'll send you something. It sounds great.
Awesome.
Suggest to someone out there why they should do what you've done. I like the learning aspect, but I also like the fact that you're doing the creative side where you're playing with the music, right? So why would you suggest someone, a busy entrepreneur, if you would do something like that? Have a window for just being creative.
Well, a lot of times when we have conversations about whether we're a logical person or we're a creative person, that whole left brain, right brain conversation, we often try to put ourselves in a box and say, "Oh, well, I'm only logical or I'm only a creative." But I think there's so much more to life if we actually can tap into both sides of our brain, right?
Mm,
So, as an example, um, I may logically plan out a podcast, but I am creatively finding ways to add content and add value and connect with new users and switch up different formats. I may logically run a business and make sure that my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed, but creatively, I'm finding ways to market to customers to figure out what it is that they really need as their small business. And so I think we do ourselves a huge disservice if we, as entrepreneurs, don't tap into that creative outlet. I often joke and say that I run my business the way that I ran my band
mm,
because it's all about fun, creativity, but also hitting the goals that you want it to hit. And
yeah.
so, just to wrap that up, I just think that it's great to play both sides of your brain and be both creative and logical.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Amazing audience. We are live with Joey Price. Joey is the podcast host, amongst other things, of Business, Life, and Coffee. Do check that out. Joey, let's switch gears for a moment and let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water.
Oh, I love
Joey,
it.
what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory is probably sitting in the back seat of my parents' BMW, and we're in Germany, and I'm reading in the back of the car, sounding out words, and my parents are helping me sound them out.
Wow.
Uh,
How old do you think you were?
I was probably about 3 years old.
Wow. Why do you think this memory is so clear?
Well, it's so clear for a few reasons. One, because it really just dawned on me lately that my whole family have been or currently are educators. And so it's a moment where it's in my early childhood and it's one of my first real examples of just being a learner, setting out on that lifelong in, in, inquirious learner, curious learner,
Yeah.
aggressive learner, and just really trying to soak up new information, whether I connected the dots or not on what it all meant, but just seeing something in front of me and embracing a challenge, and then my family being there to support that. So that really stands out to me because to this day, it's the same thing.
Wow. Well, can I add to the interpretation with the thought picture you created in my mind?
Totally. Go ahead.
I love the idea of throughout our conversation, the way the number 3 comes up, right? So, and I'll say this, it's like, business, life, and coffee, right? It's just like three things that are occurring parallel to each other, but in the same direction. And here it is, you're in the car, heading in a direction with your parents second, and you, the book, right? With the book. And it's fascinating to see the parallel again, where the three things are in the same direction. The direction you're going, the support you're getting, and the book. Somewhat like the coffee, right? It's like we have coffee, we have a book. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and you know what? I love that, and the reason why my podcast is Business, Life, and Coffee, because it's about that coffee shop atmosphere where you're sitting across the table with somebody and you're just getting to know one another. You're listening and you're sharing ideas. And the power, the number 3 is a very powerful number for me. So I think that's why I speak in threes.
Yeah. It's fascinating how it connects. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
When I was 12, my favorite song would have probably been, something by either Limp Bizkit or Beastie Boys or Jay-Z. I had an eclectic taste, so it had to have been something from those 3 guys.
Yeah, well, of course it had to be 3, right? But I mean, choose one.
Number 1 at that time would have probably been the Beastie Boys.
All right, what song from them?
No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to go pretty quickly here, Joey. Joey, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
Of course.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Absolutely.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Oh, more than 8.
After 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook, and the name of it is Yours, and it stands for your own unique real self. Connected to that is your own unique real statement. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, something that represents who Joey Price is, your mission, if you would, what would that be?
It'd be my favorite quote by Olympian and U.S. runner Steve Prefontaine, who says, "To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift."
Ooh, love it. Joey Price, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I just want to say thank you to the audience for indulging me with your time. And Angel, thanks for having me on your show. I'd love to have you on my podcast sometime.
Yeah, sure. It'd be my pleasure. January 2018, until we get past Johnny Dumas's goal number count, until we beat him, right?
Yes, together. Yes,
together. That's what matters, together. Joey Price, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
My pleasure.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.